Everyone, we're the Bearded Bastards of the Villain's Demand, bringing you session 29 of our D&D 5th edition game, The Ancient War Reborn. I'm your DM, JVD.
Hey guys, I'm Evan the Great from the Villain's Demand, also part of the Bearded Bastards D&D crew here, playing Luda Silverstring, the Elven Bard, Paladin of Bahamut, Harper agent also of Greenfields Company. Fuck us a lot.
You say that, but your recaps are so much longer.
Hey, I'm the Bearded Wonder with the Villain's Demand, and I'm playing Vesper Nord, the Moon Elf Rogue / Warlock.
I'm Smiley with the Villain's Man, playing Ultimate Whitehammer. I make shit, I shoot shit. It's a wonderful life.
And as I just made fun of Evan the Great for recaps, Di says he gets to give the recap, unfortunately.
Okay, recap from last session. I'm gonna try to cut this one shorter. Let's see how this goes. We find out Vesper made a deal with Cloth. Not very happy about it, but she's still our friend, even though I hate what she done. We found out that Cloth brought back Avuthier, and she's a badass fighter now.
How you know she's a badass fighter?
Well, she looks like a badass fighter.
She looks like a Lucy.
You said, oh yeah, make her this level.
Yeah.
Oh, still, okay, yeah, sure.
Mr. Smiley over here, his character Orid has come back with some gear that he's made from the forges of Cultogrim. And when we had a meeting, we discussed with the council what all was going on. Afterward, I talked to the Dwarven King Brunor about these dragons I've met, and then we decided we tell him about Harshnag. He's going to try to help us. We're going to meet him outside the gates. At the gates, we also meet Roland's parents. I try to get them to give us a sword. We get into some kind of agreement. We make an agreement. Yeah. And then we're going off to see Harshnag. And we're going to go to Maelstrom.
Maelstrom.
Well, we haven't left the gate yet, have we?
No, not yet.
Wow, you did that in a minute and 10 seconds. Impressive.
That is-
Hey, everybody.
I think he deserves inspiration.
I try to cut it down.
No, he's still got to make up for all the other time.
I try to cut it down because normally I'd be like, and then we met Roland's parents, his mom is blah blah blah, his dad is blah blah blah.
But instead of just doing that section from the end of the last video, he did the whole entire last section in a very quick recap. All right, so you guys have agreed to give one of the dragon masks, if retrieved, to Roland's parents in exchange for the sword. You've kind of decided you're going to try to destroy one with Megara after this battle, if it takes place, is over. One of the dragons wants one, and the main kicker at the end, who wanted something else?
Wow.
We don't know that, but Ward wants to walk around with one to just be an asshole.
So, no, Cloth wants the crown.
Yeah.
He don't want a mask, he wants the entire crown.
Before we start, I'm just gonna say that Cloth wants I'm gonna say that Cloth wants a mask.
You're going to say that?
Yeah.
What?
My patron.
Everybody looks at you crazy.
Yes, they do.
He's not getting a mask.
Cloth gets what Cloth wants.
Yeah. Look towards Brunor. Like God.
Bruno is just looking at Vesper crazy, like, eh?
Ward's looking at us where he's like, eh? I honestly have no idea what to say to that. Ward has no idea what to say to that. He thinks you might have lost her mind.
Fee will just kind of speak up. If one dragon has a mask, as long as Megara destroys one, none of this should be an issue.
Not to come to argue.
And then, say Megara destroys one, if we can throw it in the pit and it'll do so, then we'll take the remaining 3 if Cloth gets one and destroy them as well.
I'm not going to argue with this. It just sounds weird saying yes. It's like an affront to the senses.
I mean, but we're not even sure what the masks do. But surely one is better than the whole thing, and what's it going to matter if the rest are destroyed?
Like I said, I'm not arguing. It just sounds weird. But then again,
Bah! That's what Bruno, blah! And he's like, You know, he points to the gate so you guys can go meet with Harshnag.
Now, Zalto's attendant supposed to meet us here too, right?
I don't remember if he is or not.
You say
Yes, yeah, he's here too.
because he had stuff to tell us from Zalto.
Yeah, he's waiting for you guys on out. He's past all this.
And Bruno wants to meet Harshnag.
So, you guys leave?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a quick walk. It's just a mile outside, and through the brush, through these trees, you'll see Harshnag, and he just kind of waves you through, and he looks confused, and he's pointing down in the trees, but you can't see anything because he's in a thick of trees.
Yeah.
When you get close enough, he tells you, "Who is this?" And you can't see anybody, but he's pointing down. It's Alto's anyway.
Yeah, I was it must be.
Yeah, it's Reborn. And
Oh.
he kind of looks at you guys and you've made a deal with Zalto.
Hey, we killed Tiamat.
I don't think that's wise.
He says he wants peace.
He kind of looks confused. He was like, "It's not my place. You can talk to the princess yourself and bring it to her at court."
Hey.
And at this entire time, you guys realize Brunor's like sizing Harshnag up.
Yeah, you should probably introduce him.
Yeah.
Harshnag, this is me king, Bruno Battlehammer.
He knows of the king, and he just kind of just nods his head. Just a slight nod.
Yeah.
So,
The king, this is a dear friend, Harshnag.
he kind of just, like I said, he's kind of just sizing him up. Blah! Kill the bigger. He tells you, Salto's bitch, what news do you have? And he says, I've contacted Zalto that you have brought the Primordial with you. He wishes that we bring it to him with haste. He tells him, I'll bring it to myself. He says, I will gather arms from the dwarven citadels in the area, and we will march to Zalto together. As you can tell, Brunor has no plans going there alone. He will bring a small force with him to make sure everything goes right. Kind of read Reborn, he kind of looks worried when he says that. He's really trying to talk him out of it. And Brunor's not having it at all. He says that he wiggles the flask around, it goes, I go.
Yep.
You say that, and he just kind of looks at you. Like, who are you to say yep?
I'll tell the envoy, I'll be like, listen, if Zalto's intentions are true, he will not have a problem with this.
He still kind of looks concerned. It's not what he was expecting. Because, for one, he lives in that area. And he knows both Citadel Adbar and Citadel Felbar are in very close proximity to Ironslag. He really expresses he's worried about the amount of dwarves that joins Brunor, and that he's afraid that Zalto may see that as a sign of war. And Brunor assures him if he double crosses him, that such a thing will happen.
How about instead you bring a contingent of various factions? He was wanting to be a part of the Lord's Alliance. Bring the Lord's Alliance to him.
Revan, he kind of nods his head and agrees with you, and he says, yes, that is a very, very good idea.
Each faction will bring their own contingent.
Bruno, blah! Do any of them look like fighters to you? Do you think they could take down a frost giant, a fire giant, a storm giant? It's like I've killed many giants myself.
Without mention to the stick of us, Lord Neverember has survived Megara's awakening. There
He kind
are
of
capable
nods to it.
harpers and warriors amongst them, including mages.
He says, but you've said it yourself, they cannot agree upon anything themselves. He says, I will bring my trusted brethren with me.
Aye, but I think it'll do them good to see this what's at school.
He says, the Alliance needs to be here. They need to prepare for war. He says, Gontaldrim was always prepared for war. My people are set. He says, if there is any forging with Megara, I shall do it myself. You can tell he gives you this stern look like he's very set on doing so.
No, I'm not talking him down from wrong. I'm talking about like bringing other people with him, so it's not just a way.
He's not having that at all. Because this is his thing. This is what he has agreed to do after you gave this conversation of everybody just wants to take and use their own wants and never give. You know, this is to prove to everybody else that he is willing to do this.
Maybe
Just do me a favor. There's a wizard in Everlanda that also wishes to head. There was one to speak to Zolto as well. If you pass by the way, his name is Crowan Van Horo.
Reborn being from Everland, he's like, I know of him. If he wishes to come, I will make sure that he comes with us. He will do such a thing. It's where he is from. So.
And I'm not such a fool to talk yet when your mind is set, King.
So, and he said, you'd be smart not to. He says, now, boss, be gone with you. There's business to attend to. And one last time, he kind of just sizes Harshnag up and kind of gives him a nod. And he, by himself, leaves this forest. Harshnag just kind of watches him leave and kind of just shakes his head no, like he doesn't understand the issue.
Yeah.
He looks and it's very good to see you.
Aye. We've missed you, my friend.
And he says, I've done so myself. There is many times I wish you were around. Something strange is going on at Maelstrom.
I've been having problems getting a hold of you, so they're trying to bump me out.
He says, I fear it is much more than that. A storm giant out of its mind tried to assassinate me, as I took it upon myself to protect the princess with her uncle. There's treachery afoot, and she's wishing to be part of this alliance, wishing to go to war. She knows not who to trust. And I trust you, and she has come to trust me. The issue is her family, her uncle, her bodyguard does not trust the small folk. You have quite the situation on your hands if you wish to persuade the princess with all the voices in her ear.
Aye. That's fair enough.
He says,
But
but I warn you, there are other leaders of giant kind there, and they will probably do their best to persuade her not to trust you.
is the hill giant there?
He has no clue. He just knows that court is being held today.
Because I kind of want her to be there. I think it'll be fun.
No, he has no clue. He just knows that some of the other giants, leaders, are being summoned today to discuss the ordaining. He has spoke of you. She's wanting to speak to you. Obviously, you connect to the Lord's Alliance. It's the only thing he can think of to do.
We'll try our best.
I also have a bit of dire news involving Hikaton.
He kind of looks at you concerned.
We have met a storm giant in Jofnar.
Says, I've heard of Jofnar. He's the one that found the princess's mother's body.
Aye, he found Hikaton, but the sending was broken off by the Ruhala dragon.
He gives you a grim look. This news will not sit well in Maelstrom. Before Hikaton's disappearance, his wife was found murdered, and he kind of points towards the northwest at an area they call Red Rocks. And they think small folk, such as yourself, done it by the wounds. Jofnar found her, and Jofnar took it upon himself to try to find the king. This will not set well. It seems you have already dug yourself a hole and gained yourself disadvantage before you even meet Princess.
Jofnar was a friend.
I wish I could know this Jofnar about what Uthar has told me. He seemed like quite the warrior.
He was a good friend.
Said, now come, time is of the essence. The longer we stay here, the longer it may take you to meet the princess.
Aye. Best we be off.
And you see him pull this conch shell out, and you've seen it before, and he blows on it. And you feel yourself turn very fluidly, almost like you're liquid, and you watch yourself as you look down your feet turn into water and disappear. Everybody, roll me a Constitution save.
Of course.
It's the second time you guys have ever teleported in your lives.
11. Because I rode ship. 2. Stop rolling on paper.
6.
What about a Roustier?
She got this.
Actually, well, she got an 11.
I got it.
Obviously, it makes you all sick. You guys kind of stumble out of the way, as you can tell that Harshnag is not used to this himself. You arrive in a rough-hewn chamber. Below you, where you're standing, is a room that electricity slowly starts to spark off of it, as if it's dying. Everybody roll me an intelligence check.
Would it count as Arcana?
No,
Not fair enough.
this is not a skill check.
Alright. 20.
11.
21.
Right on.
Oh, look.
Or Vesper, you recall seeing this symbol before in the Temple of the Allfather. It was one of the runes around the portal.
Oh, I thought you were talking about actual lightning arcing off or something, alright.
No, it's not. It's like it's dying off. The spark is, and you would know this to be because due to Roland's gift to you, you can read this as storm. The walls here are moist and covered with bioluminescent lichen, snails, starfish, and barnacles. Tiny, harmless crabs crawl across the floor, avoiding the signal as the lightning dies from it. And Harshnag kind of puts his hands on the wall. He slips from the moisture, and you guys are vomiting, and he tells you, you'll get used to this, I'm told. I don't think I ever will.
You asked my wife to vomit on.
So he kind of looks down at you guys, and you guys are kind of wiping it, or like getting it out of his beard.
Or just spared it on.
He's like, you see something that you've never really seen the time you've known Harshnag. He kind of smirks. He says, imagine if I would have thrown up. He said, it'd been more than in your beard.
It's not up to the magic of the word, my friend.
You would have threw up when you would have died.
I might literally die.
Run into the sea of bile.
As he says this, you hear something faint, and it quickly speeds up. It becomes very loud in this room. It's a very melodic voice that is singing. And you can hear what you would probably think as an organ playing. And the sound fills this entire room, and it's beautiful. And he says, says, the sisters are obviously entertaining the giant lords. It seems we have arrived just in time. Says, come, follow me. As you travel down the hallways, you're almost unlike this giant sea cave, and it's much like where you just come through. There's all this bioluminescent lichen. Now then you'll see snails, starfish just crawling on the wall. It's very unique, very different from anything you've ever been to. It's beautiful. Everything's in hues of sea green, much like the color of the wall behind you, and blues, purples, almost like the Bearded Wonder's shirt. And everything here is very, very beautiful. And in real life, if you were to trip on LSD, this might be what things look like.
Until it goes bad.
Yeah, until it
Did
goes
you get that
bad.
little part where the rug of the living room meets the tile of the kitchen? And you're sort of sitting on a cliff.
You come to a room that is lifted up by barnacle-covered pillars of hewn rock. This ceiling looks to be like 30 foot high, as in you're in a giant's castle, so everything is massive compared to you guys. As you come in, the first thing that takes your view in, past the giants, is this huge crystal window, and all you can see is the depths of what you realize is the ocean.
I don't know what it's worth being so high above or so far below.
And you just see strange amount of fish and aquatic life in and out of this place through this glass window. And the giants before you pay no attention to it until the beautiful giant singing quits and the person playing this giant crab that's alive, almost like an organ. They quit playing and they look to you in Harshnag. And in front of you, 5 giant lords turn to look at you. And one of them screams, "Ah!" And it's Chief Gug. She's like, "No, not them!" And she trembles and her fat jiggles as she points to you guys. There's a stone giant, and he's covered in furs, and he pays her no attention, and he just looks at you guys strangely. The other 3, a fire giant female, a frost giant male, and a cloud giant male. They look to her, and the frost giant quickly glares at you menacingly. And Gug is scared out of her mind. And as you expect her to sit in a wheelbarrow or a wagon like she was last time, she sits on a giant throne of coral that hovers in the air. Now, you have seen a storm giant, and he was massive when you met Jopnar. Much like the 2 women doing the musical number, they quit. To give you an idea, Gug is bigger than them. I mean, she's enormous.
She looks like she swallowed one of them.
Oh, probably 2 of them, if not. And she's trembling as she sees you, and all she can do is point, and her jaws jiggle as she looks at you guys. I mean, she is the Jabba the Hutt of D&D. And she is terrified, and she's like, "No!" And she's screaming as she sees you.
I'll step forward and give a bow.
I will likewise do the same.
And I'm Vesper Norick of Greenfields Company.
I am Warren Whitehammer of Greenfields Company.
I am Luta Silverstring of Greenfields Company.
I am Sir of Greenfields Company.
All these giants sit on giant clamshells with a table made of coral in front of them. Each of them drink from a giant conch. None of them have food but Gug, and she has all types of fish prepared in front of her, and most of it's eating. Everybody roll me a perception visual.
Hey. That's a 16. It's high for me.
I got high for me.
You got-
I got 10.
28.
What do you got, Luda?
A 16.
Luda, Vesper, you notice behind Gug, you can start to see like 2 ogres peek around at you guys, and they look scared too. One of them is scarred from burning.
They remember.
And you instantly remember him as the one Varys set on fire that attacked the caravan that you fought with at Grughall. And they look scared.
I hit one of them with a lightning bolt too.
I think you had the same one fighting, bro.
We killed quite a few of their friends.
To be fair, it was Clutter instigated.
The 2 sisters introduce themselves. One of them says, "I am Princess Mirren." One says, "I am Princess Nim." "Why are you here?" And you see they give Harshnag angry looks.
I'll bow, princesses. Then I'll look at Harshnag. Would you care to explain why we're here?
Harshnag kind of looks down to the ground and looks at you guys. He looks and kind of shakes his head to refurbish it and says, "Princess," what's her name?
Sarissa?
Sarissa, yes, has asked for an audience. And all these giants kind of scoff when he says that.
I am here to kill the Queen of Dragons.
The frost giant speaks up. He's like, you bring small folk, such puny creatures, into the royal court of all of giant kind. Are you a fool? And Harshnag goes say something. He says, wait. Do not answer. That is why you left your kind and joined their kind. Pathetic. And you can tell he has a very big distaste for Harshnag. You can hear Harshnag, he just kind of growls at this. As you can tell, it angers him very much.
I'll speak up and I'll say, we've been to the temple of the All-Father. The All-Father has blessed us all and spoken to us.
When you start to say this, they all yell, all of them giants just start spitting, sacrilege, sacrilege, as you're saying this. Like, they're very disgusted that you've went to the temple of their sacred gods.
We're God. Your God's talked to us, so we must not be so vile.
This Jarl, this frost giant leader, he says, and I take it, Harshnag, this is all in giant, he says, take it that you took them there. He kind of nods himself. He said, yes. He said, we're not fighting this alone. You know, there are those small folk that wish to aid us, to help us restore the ordning. And he kind of just shakes his head and doesn't bother. And the entire time you see this stone giant, these firs, and he intently watches and listens to every word you say.
I am here to kill the Queen of Dragons. I've made that my sole purpose.
This female frost giant, female fire giant, excuse me, and the frost giant laugh when you say this. They're like, you killed Tiamat? The frost giant just laughs. This female fire giant, she just kind of snickers and shakes her head no, like it's impossible for you to do so.
We have chased them from one end of Toro to the other, killed their dragons, and killed one of their leaders. What have you done?
The fire giant speaks up. She says, I, with Duke Zalto, have constructed a colossus to kill the queen. We have killed many dragons.
Yes, but he needs Megara from Gauntlgrim to power his machine.
She says, a creature we will soon have, I assure you.
Correct, and a creature that I gave him.
When you say this, she looks at you. You gave this to Zalto, and she looks like she gives a credible look like it's impossible.
I'll show her my ring of fire resistance that I got. Be like, Duke Zalto gave me this when we battled some other people for the chance to give him.
She, when you do this, she looks at you and she shoves this table forward and steps up, and she comes to you and she gets in your face. Let me see.
And
I mean, you can feel the hotness from her breath, and she's very beautiful. And she looks at your ring, and she looks at you confused. She looks at her. She tells the truth. That ring belongs to Zalto. And the other ones just kind of start looking at each other. And Gug's like, they're terrible. I'm telling you, they probably took it by force.
Zalto is alive and well, and he's meeting with King Brunor soon.
This really sets this fire giant female back. And she kind of takes a step. The King of Gauntlgrim meets him.
Yes, we are making preparations for Zalto to have a seat on the Lord's Alliance.
And she kind of looks around.
Because Zalto wants to kill Tiamat.
Roll me a persuasion.
That is 20.
Hey, you got way above what you needed. She kind of looks around. She bows to both Miriam and Nim. She said, tell your sister I need not talk to her. I have learned all I needed to. And she walks by and she stares at you hard, Vesper. And she kind of smirks and she walks back to where you teleported in.
As she was looking at me, I'll wink at her.
I'll give a bow as she passes.
This Jarl, this frost giant leader, he was like, that means nothing. He's like, I've killed many dwarfs. And if Brunor Battlehammer crosses me, I will kill him too. Zalto means nothing. He said, fire giants will not win this world. He says, ice will cover everything and freeze the dragon in their caves.
What about white ones?
He says, those I have killed many of. And he pulls this necklace out from underneath his armor, and it's covered in dragon teeth. He says, I have 2 captured in my fortress. The dragons mean nothing to me.
Show him your dragon armor.
I've got it
Oh,
on.
you can kind
Yeah.
of see.
I've got it on. I ain't saying shit. It don't wear like teeth.
Just take your cape off. See, you got a cape on. Be like, oh, boy, this.
And you notice each one of these teeth are the size of like your sword. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Still, the
Okay,
stone
first,
giant
hard on.
intently just stares.
I'll ask why there has to be such hostility between everybody.
Out of game, because it's a frost giant.
I know. We're talking. We're here to negotiate.
Doug quivers and shakes through all the fat everybody. She said, because we cannot trust you. You attacked me. I did nothing to you.
You attacked our caravan.
You sent your ogres and giants to attack both the caravan and where we resided in Golden Fields.
And she's like, did anybody die?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she kind of looks around at the other ones like she's at a loss for words. She said, but you're still here. I didn't kill you.
And we didn't kill you.
And she's...
I remember right. You don't push her into something.
No, yeah, Harshnag, they dragged her into
In the swine pit.
But did you die?
You can tell she is at a loss for words.
Dude, we're not here to fight anyone. That was
Um,
never our intent when coming here.
I'm gonna look you between you two, Vesper and Orb. You can decide if you want to roll a persuasion or intimidation, and one of you make the roll.
You have better persuasion than I do, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can try to persuade her.
So,
Well, that counts as 10. So 18.
okay, so this is you're making a persuasion on
Yeah.
Gug.
Yeah.
Great good.
As you do so, you could tell that she is very uncertain of her next words. And this Jarl, this frost giant, just kind of looks at her pathetically. He's like, you, as big as the mountains, let these puny folk ruin your plans? And he just kind of laughs. Said, I don't know what's more pathetic, you or Harshnag.
We're
What
more
assault to be
powerful than
friend?
you think.
And he says, would you care to prove it?
Maybe later, but now we have bigger issues.
I'm down for whatever. Quit assaulting me, friend.
Gug. She's like, they'll kill you! They'll kill you!
I like her.
She's Storval, they'll pull you into a hole. The pigs will try to eat you. And she's like, oh, and you can tell she's very scared of you.
Look, remember what you did to poor Snort? He was trapped inside your fat robe.
And when she sees Snurk, she kind of licks her lips like, He was going to be covered in honey. And she's like, licking her lips. When
As
she
he's
looks
doing
at
this, Rupert's beyond start licking his lips at her.
Nim, she's the one at this giant organ. She says, if you wish to speak with our sister, I hate to inform you, but she is far too overwhelmed with matters of importance with these giant boards. Restoring the ordning is much more important than dealing with you small folk. Without the ordning, none can lead us in a battle against Tiamat. You're wasting your time.
If Tiamat rises, there won't be a world for there to be a ordning in. She'll destroy the entire world.
You say this in Jarl Storbald, as Gug is called him. She's like, I promise you, Tiamat will not rise. I will destroy the dragon myself, with or without the Ordning. If I find the ring, everything will be blah, 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 bow before me.
The ring. Maybe we can help you get this ring.
And he said, me, trust small folk. One of you have already lied to me.
Who's lied to you?
He kind of looks you over, says, someone claiming to be with the Zentarum.
Oh, we don't like the Zentarum.
No.
They're dicks.
Who do you want me to kill from the Zentarum? I'll kill him for you.
She's not bloody joking. She's dead
There's no
serious.
worry. I will feed him to the dragons.
Ooh. Remember anything? Remember the thing. Frost Giants outside the city is calling for a guy. What was his name? I had it in my notes.
Maybe you're more organized than mine.
Well, I can't remember how long ago it was. That's the problem.
It's been a long time ago.
Was it before or after the caravan?
I was wondering if anybody's gonna remember this.
Oh God, what was his name? It was in Baldur's Gate, I think.
You're like college notes. Like you're the professor, and he's your student just taking notes. Yes.
No, it was in Waterdeep. Baldur's Gate.
Am I going to teach people how to take notes in order so they're easier to keep up with?
We'll have to do a class on this.
Yeah. Evan, did you ever organize your notes? That's a no.
I know.
Arden Susk? That's not it, is it?
Who?
Arden Susk?
Give me just a second. I'm gonna go to where that's out of the book. Let's see here. Not seeing it in that spot, and I'm not seeing it in the other spot, so no, that is not it. I know the two names, I have them in the exact same, I have them in the spots that's right, no, that's not it. But, I will throw you a bone. You can roll me an intelligence of 15 or higher, I will tell you the spots that you remembered.
20.
Okay, roll me one more, because there's two.
23.
Okay, cool. When you met with Ford's Alliance and they told you of the Giants' attacks, they mentioned the Frost Giants seemed to be looking for somebody. A guy gave themselves up at Brian Shander because the Giants were throwing rocks at the walls, and he gave themselves up because that's apparently they're guessing this guy kind of knew something. He gave himself up. He's a human. And at Xantharl's Keep, a dwarf was stolen who had been working the basically working bales of hay, feeding the farm animals around the area. The Frost Giants had staged basically an assault so they could sneak in and steal him. That's probably what you're thinking of. Them were the only two times the Frost Giants were looking for somebody that anybody knows of. But you are right. There is somebody that they are looking for.
You gave us a name when they were young.
Oh yeah, but I'm not giving you the name.
Yeah, no, that's what I remember writing it down. I just can't find it.
I can't give you the name, but the only name that I have written down to give out, that I was giving out, was the name of the dwarf, and I have it written down. But I'm just giving you the two instances.
Orin? What? This is off by itself.
Was this guy at the meeting with us?
Snur's over here.
No.
It's after it's before Snur.
Because I'm here with a meeting and they talk about the towns that got burnt down.
Well, I'll ask this guy. Okay, so you were lied to by one person. That doesn't mean that everybody is out to get you.
Says, true. Says, but I can trust none of you. A small folk holds the ring. They hold the ice that never melts. With it, I can restore the Ordning, bring it into Tiamat.
Well, perhaps.
For all I know, any of you have it. And he pulls this rod out, and it has a ruby on the end. He's pointing it at each one of you, real slowly.
I do an Arcana check to see what the frick's up.
You gotta be able to touch it.
No, I'm talking about to see if it acts as a magic or he's just like Officer Rocker.
Oh no, he's
Yeah.
very straightforward. You can tell there's magic here. And he just kind of grimaces. He's like, it seems you are not fated to die today.
Who has this ring?
Roll me persuasion. This is tough.
Oh, come on. Real good. 18.
And he says, why? So you could steal it for yourself?
So I can steal it for you.
He says, many have tried, many small folk have failed, and they've all been fed to the dragons.
Or perhaps we don't have to steal it for you. Perhaps we can negotiate it for you.
He said, the Zent in my control tried the same thing. What they gave me worked, but still they could not deliver. How do I know you won't deliver? He kind of looks your arm over, filth of cloth.
Yes, I am the voice of Claw.
He said, so how can we trust you? The dragons are to be at all of our throats, and yet here you are.
What did dragons hate the most? Other than losing their treasure, of course.
That's what I was going to say.
But losing their power.
And he says, and yet cloth gives power to this one.
Because you would have known if Tiamat came.
Oh, I fail to believe you. Still, this stone giant, Furs, listens very intently. Both of the princesses, Miriam and Nim, do as well.
We play a lot of politics.
So the fire giant, the one with the ring, what's his name?
You got
Stormwald.
Droll Stonewall here, Doug,
Ring.
this stone
One
giant, and this cloud giant who wears a mask. He's been very, very quiet.
I'll see the cloud giant there, and I'll say, good cloud giant.
They don't answer.
Do we recognize the cloud giant?
He's wearing a
He's got a
mask.
mask.
Where are the mask?
It's Zephyros and hiding.
Might be Zephyros.
Did you? So you couldn't get anything off how powerful? Why the ring's so powerful?
No.
Didn't do anything to see it.
Vesper's persuasion.
I'm assuming it's at least on par with the freaking Colossus that's Alto's building.
Yeah.
You can try to persuade them.
But
I asked him. So you wanting to outdo Zalto? If you get this ring, you want to be the one to take down Tiamat?
He said, are you that dumb, woman? All of Giantkind wants to sit upon the Ordning.
Because we have aligned
It's just
ourselves
like an arms race.
somewhat with Zalto, and he has a big robot, or what is it called?
The Vodnod.
Yeah, the Vodnod.
I know of the thing.
So he has his weapon, and you need yours.
He says, and is the Vodnod complete?
Yes.
Really?
You're lying. It's
No,
not.
the dwarf is bringing the last part there right now.
But it's not complete. He's still looking for parts.
Oh, I thought he just needed that. I say it's on its way to being complete.
And he said, and much like I am close to fighting the ice that never melts. He says, and I assure you, the ring will freeze the Colossus in
the
its
difference
place.
is though you're doing that by yourself when we were using the entire
He
Sword
laughs
Coast
when
to
you
help
say this. He
Zalto.
says, by myself. He says, if I was doing it by myself, would I be sitting here trying to entertain such puny creatures as yourself? By myself. And he starts laughing.
I was implying that Zalto had half a total helping him.
He says, you know, you can trust some of the Zentarum. And he smiles.
You know you can't.
You should not trust none of them.
Well, the Zentarum will be useless after, I don't know, give it a few months. I plan to destroy them.
I will
He
hope
just
so.
laughs. You in what army? Your dragon. The dragon that will never leave its domain. Do you not realize dragons are paranoid? Yes. Are they mighty? Yes. They're paranoid. They covet two things, their domain and their treasure. The beast will never leave, and when he does, I will freeze him inside of his cave.
If you don't wish for our help, then so be it.
This
Lay it out across
stone
the-
giant, and he was like, calm yourselves. He says, I have seen you before
Yeah.
from a distance. You're noble warriors. I believe your cause is just. Says, please, enlighten me. What brings you to Maelstrom? And you can tell he's very curious. He's been listening very intently, and he's been quiet this entire time.
We're trying to stop. I'm me alone, myself. I'm trying to make amends for the wrong that I have done.
He says, is such a thing worthy of going to war over?
It's worth my own life.
He kind of looks at the rest of
If
you.
my life is the smallest, is the price I pay, one broken what's worth the world.
He's kind of looking at the rest of you. He nods his head like he understands. He feels your sympathy. And he just kind of looks at the rest of you.
I tell him, I'm here because it'd be giant, dragon, whatever monstrosity, this world will end if Tiamat happens. So I will align myself with any who is good in nature and does not side by Tiamat. My job is to bring everybody together. We figure this would be a good place to do, but we knew it'd be the hardest. It's hard to get some of you to even listen to us and look at the frost giant.
You say this, and this stone giant, he kind of strokes his beard. It looks like it's made of grass. And he's like, you ally yourself with those that good, but yet you come here calling Zalto an ally. He says, do you find yourself that wise?
We have a backup plan if Zalto gets out of hand.
We really don't.
We really don't. We have Reborn.
Vesper, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'll tell them that I'm here because these are my friends and my family because for the longest time I thought that my entire family had been killed by the Zentarum. And I thought all my life was just a life of vengeance to finally get my revenge on the Zentarum for killing my family. But then I found these guys, and then Barbustia became more than just a friend. And when she died, I did what I would do for any of my friends. And I point to the tattoo. I made a deal to bring her back, even if it cost me my soul.
He tells you and kind of nods and says, so you were here for family.
Yes.
He says, very wise, for I am here too. I fear for my family, for my clan. He says, you seem to be the wisest, though you've sold your soul.
Sorry.
I don't think my soul would have been clean after my path of vengeance anyway.
He says, vengeance is not worth it. Peace is what is best.
Aye.
But I do understand you cannot have war without peace. Now both of you, 2 out of the 3 have actually spoken well to this guy, so there's no disadvantage on this. You get persuasion with Thane Brannox on your persuasion. So who's rolling your persuasion?
You get minimum 10 in that.
Yeah. 18.
God, no.
You get advantage.
Oh, I'll give it
18's pretty high though.
Yeah, 18.
Okay, you're good. You only need 15. He kind of looks at the others. He says, I'll decline my position in the court, so you may step in front of me to present your case to the princess. He's like, I urge the rest of you to do so as well. And Gub's like, as long as they don't kill me.
I wouldn't know the name of it.
Jarl just kind of snarls at him. Jarl Starwall does. I will do no such thing.
Not him, he's a dick.
The Thane looks at the cloud giant, and you cannot read the expression on his face due to the mask he wears. The mask has a very neutral look, and he speaks up. His voice is very soft and almost like it echoes through his mask. He says, "What do you offer me?"
What do you want?
It's not what I asked. I said, "What do you offer me? Give me tribute. Trade me. And I will kindly step down."
I've got the coin.
Says, he laughs. "I have no need for coin."
I figured as much.
Sorry, Snart.
That's how snurred.
Everybody roll me a insight. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like
Man.
13.
Hope I roll better than this
Give me a second.
today.
Well,
No. Yeah, 13.
what do you got, Vesper?
That's terrible. It's like a 2.
Luda?
Well, I have a -1 and I rolled a 1.
Oh, cool, you have 0. What about her boost yet?
That's
Oh. Okay. So it's 19.
She kind of leans up to you, whispers in your ear, "He's looking at your weapons and armor." That's what she says.
That's what I say when she says that. Yeah. That's cute.
She was like,
We have an extra suit of white dragon armor, right?
Yeah, because I can't wear it. I have it. Yeah, so I'll pull out of my backpack this scale mill white dragon armor.
when you do, you see his shoulders kind of straighten up and his posture gets curious. He says, "What do you have here, little lady?"
This is dragon armor.
I made it myself.
Kind of looks it over and he waves his hand. You can fight against this if you want,
Over the
because you
armor?
feel a pull on the armor.
No.
It's very strong.
Oh, he's pulling on the armor? that I
Yes,
have?
yeah, he's waving his hand. You feel a pull on the armor,
Okay, I'll let it go.
and it floats to his hand, and he picks it up. When it does, he lays out his other hand, and it sizes to fit him. He looks it over. You see him kind of draw this signal in the air, and you see this glow go over it. He kind of nods his head in satisfaction. "Very well. You may take my spot."
Very fair,
Thank you.
sir. I do not get your name.
He does not answer. He's been quiet this entire time. At this time, the doors in the back open up. These two storm giants in regal armor. "Who is next?" Jarl kind of looks at you guys. "I am." And none oppose him. And he kind of looks at you guys and he walks in.